All right, well, we're back.
Woo!
We are back with the ALF episode, Night Train.
Great
episode.
And I'm here with Poe.
Hi.
And Rusty.
Hey, you know what's interesting? I don't know if you read though, but every episode for the ALF series was titled after a song.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
No.
So Night Train could be possibly named after the Guns N' Roses song.
What? How many seasons did they have? I guess there's a lot
4.
of music in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, only 4?
But ALF is an interesting show historically. But before we even get into that, did you watch ALF when it was on?
Yes.
Yeah,
Loved
me
it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all ALF heads here.
Yeah.
ALF Mania was all the rage in 1987.
Yeah. I mean, I just sometimes, I feel like I didn't watch it that often.
Do you remember any episodes specifically? Like, I can't recall any episodes, but I was a huge fan.
Me either.
Well, I think they all blend together because they're very repetitive.
Was
are.
it? Yeah. Was it on at like a weird time? Was it on late?
I feel like it was on at 8 p.m.
That's not-
That's pretty
I mean,
late.
And I think
yeah, but I remember I watched a shitload of MacGyver. All right.
I feel like, I do
remember
feel like
that.
this had to have been up against a show that I watched religiously because I
Right.
didn't watch it as much as I should.
I think Night Court came on soon after it, if I remember. Night Court came on at like 8:30 or 9.
Okay, well that's interesting because I could write my dissertation on Night Court. I did not miss an episode of that.
Wow, I actually never watched Night Court. It was another one of those shows for me, like Cheers, like too many old white people in a setting I don't give a fuck about. I'm like, fuck
Night
it.
Court?
Yeah,
They had some black characters though.
like one.
Two. There was the bailiff. And there was the court officer.
Yeah, but again, I was like I was too young. It was like, and then everyone was ugly. That was like a big thing for me. If I didn't like the way the people looked,
Yeah,
not sticking around. Even though Alf is very ugly, there's something very adorable about him.
Oh, yeah.
His alien body.
I agree.
I feel like his voice. I feel like his voice never matched up to the puppet.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who did his voice because it was like a guy.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was Paul Fusco, the creator and puppeteer of ALF.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
He would use his right hand to control Alf's mouth and his left hand to control Alf's left arm. And then the other puppeteer controlled his right arm. And I believe they ended up getting married.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
But Alf famously turned down by every other network.
Mm-hmm.
But NBC had just recently made history because all 9 of their 1983-84 season pilots, including Manimal, had failed.
Oh.
No network had ever done that. And so it was time for Brandon Tartikoff from Freeport, Long Island
Nice.
to make history.
Great.
Alf was huge though, right? Like
So they were
hugely
kinda
successful.
Like, we'll take a risk. We don't care because we've had so many duds. Is that kind of the
Basically, yeah. And when Paul Fusco, the creator, was pitching it to Bernie Brillstein, his manager, or he was definitely a producer.
Is that like Brillstein, the talent agency?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And he was like telling him about the show, and Brillstein was like, not interested. And then he took Alf out of like a garbage bag, and he was like, merchandising. I'm seeing merchandising. And immediately came
was
around.
It that hair, that flip,
and
that bouncy hair of Alf?
You know what's interesting about Alf's hair? I was going to see this to a depth episode,
That you're jealous of it?
Isn't it weird? Yes, I am. But isn't it weird that his hair matches the hair of the
family?
mother and the kid?
Yes.
Like it's such a
He's a
like
ginger. Yeah.
yeah, but it's such like a unique shade of hair.
Yeah.
That they all have it. I don't even know that I've seen that hair since the show Alf.
They probably made them all dye their hair that weird red. Weird red.
The other famous thing about this show, which you may know, is that Paul Fusco was super protective of Alf's image.
Yes.
He would never let anyone see Alf outside of being alive.
Like Muhammad.
And if people called him a puppet, he'd freak the fuck out and just start swinging. So there was something on the call sheet which always said like, don't say he's a puppet, he is an alien.
Wow.
Did you ever see the movie Permanent Midnight?
I did, yes, with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Based on the life of Jerry Stahl, who was a writer for Alf.
Yes.
Quite famously. And like he was into heroin during it and shit like that. Alf had a lot of unexpected writers, including future Simpsons bigwig Al Jean.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's pronounced Reese, Mike Reese, another big Simpsons guy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that name, but Simpsons.
I do appreciate Alf's humor. Maybe that was like it's weird that we all have this memory that none of us watched it as much as we wanted to.
Yeah.
Like it was not available to us.
Yeah, it is
but
weird.
Yet we were all big fans. You watched a lot of it?
I watched every episode.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
It was.
But you can't remember a single one.
No, but like that's a lot of things with the 80s. Like how many episodes of Perfect Strangers can you remember?
Oh,
the one where it floods in the basement.
I feel like
the one where the burglar alarm goes off.
Also,
my goodness,
that's a great show where it just repeats and repeats.
Oh well, yeah.
And repeats.
I mean,
this guy's not learning anything. He's not adapting.
Pick yourself up by your bootstraps, Balky.
The other thing I want to say about Paul Fusco, though, is that the interesting thing I read is that he turned down many major endorsements, including from Burger King, Coca-Cola, Budweiser. So like he said, he was protective of the image of Alf. But I like that he didn't really sell out either.
It's true.
And so strange.
Do you know that there famously a lot of trenches were on the set?
Yes.
So Alf could be puppeted. And the actors would often fall in them. And they would name each trench after the person that had fallen into it.
Oh.
And quite famously, the people on the cast were very unhappy being on the show.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Ed, if you were on set, how many of those trenches would have been named after you?
I would have been dead midway through season 1. They all would have been the Ed Darty Memorial Trench.
Oh my God.
There was a lot of animosity on the set. I think Max Wright hated it. Hated Alf. Hated being there.
You know, there's a famous anecdote which makes me sad to relate to Poe. Anne Sheedon, who played the mom, she said on the last night of taping, and this is after 4 seasons, there was one take of the last scene, and Max walked off set, went to his dressing room, got his bags, went to his car, and disappeared without saying goodbye to anyone.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Well,
She went on to say,
I feel like that guy, even watching this episode, I felt like this guy was like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm too good of an actor for this.
Yeah.
But he wasn't that good of an actor, which is the funny thing.
I don't know.
I feel like he
I liked his character. In this episode, I liked his character, but a lot of his lines were delivered in such a bizarre way that it seemed like he wasn't acting.
That maybe like phoning it in, like I hate all of you, you know?
Probably.
Contempt.
I mean, I totally, there's a few lines that actually were interesting, but we're going to
okay.
a little more Alf history.
This was what, second season or first season?
This was second season.
Okay. You know, did you read up on Max Wright at all?
A little bit.
That he has some deviant behavior.
His wife just died. He had 2 DUIs.
Yeah,
I think it was
in New York. In New York,
I was gonna ask if he had an alcohol problem because I don't know if it was just the general theme of the episode, but he seemed like he was coked up and wasted.
Well, that is actually it. Okay, now we're talking about the episode, but
he
seemed there.
Wait, hold on. Okay. But the one other thing with Max Wright, though, he had a bigger problem than alcohol. He had a secret life where he smoked crack and had unprotected sex with homeless men.
Oh, so he really did.
And he loved it. Like one of the homeless men that they interviewed, that the National Enquirer interviewed, asked them about AIDS. AIDS was still a very relevant thing, and he didn't care. He found the sex thrilling, so he was taking a major risk having all this unprotected sex.
Do you think Gravel Gus was on his?
I think Cesspool Steve was there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hobo dicks.
Yeah.
Hobo dicks. A lot of them.
But you know what he said later?
Getting high with hobos and then
he said it doesn't matter what I felt or what the days were like. Alf brought people a lot of joy.
Well, you know what? Good job. That's at least hey.
Yeah. And I have to say, watching this episode, I felt joy. Like I didn't think, the shows we've watched so far have been kind of torturous. And this was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is like The Wire.
Yeah. The Wire of sitcoms. Alf.
I really enjoyed this episode, and I did recently try to watch an episode of Alf. I think the pilot episode or the first episode, and it was unbearable. So I was going into this thinking this show was going to be a train wreck. And it was actually,
It Night Train.
A Night Train aired November 16th, 1987.
Woo!
You were how old were you? You were 8 years old, right?
I was 3
9?
years away from being born. No, I had just turned 9. I was in 4th grade. Mr.
What a
Hammond.
birthday gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was 7.
Mm.
That's like leap year. Like, whoa, wow, you're so ahead of me in growth.
It's true. And then you caught me.
Those 2 years. And now, woo,
And the whole way I was leaving little spikes behind me. I couldn't stop you. I tried. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go through. I have each scene written down.
Great.
So here we go.
Let's
When
do
we
it.
open.
Wait, can I just say one more thing about ALF itself? I read a couple things about ALF, the alien species.
Yes.
Mhm.
Do you know that he has 8 stomachs? I guess hence all the cat eating.
Well, what does that have to do with cat eating?
Well, he loves to eat cats.
But why does he need 8 stomachs for that?
Maybe that's part of the digestion process.
I like that in the opening credits, he's like chasing the cat.
Yeah.
But then in the next shot, he's trying to eat a pie out of the fridge. I'm like, oh, all right. Not a discerning.
8 stomachs. That makes sense, though.
How, like, that song brings me back.
Yeah.
Really, not me.
Wow.
It also,
It was nice.
No, it is nice. That's the way I would describe. Like, write us a nice song.
Hey, yeah, write us a nice song. Make sure to have none of those crappy words in it.
do you know that his heart, though, is located in his right ear?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But like Alf is not his real name, right? Was it one of those things where it was like we
Gordon
changed
Shumway.
his name or something?
Gordon Shumway is his name.
Right.
Yeah. ALF was just like saying UFO or something.
Right.
Alien life form.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peek behind the curtain.
I got it. Thanks. But I know, but I was like, why don't they call him by his real name? He did have a lot of like human jokes. Like his humor is very human.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's more well versed than Balky was in Perfect Strangers.
Hey!
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Well, he's adapting so much quicker.
Yeah. One more piece of useless trivia that I read that I just wrote down because it was fascinating that he attended high school for 122 years and he was captain of the Booyah baseball team.
Wow.
And it was baseball played with seafood.
Wow.
How corny is that? Booyah
How
baseball.
What do you think Paul Fusco is, for the love of God?
He was like, I've got a great pun. One more thing about Paul Fusco, which I liked.
Mhm.
He said, the worst note I ever got was from Warren Littlefield, who wanted Alf to be more Webster-like. What does that even mean?
Oof.
Cute?
Yeah. Gross.
All right, so we open this episode. Alf is telling Kate, the mom, that he's a type T personality, which is a high sensation seeker. I actually had an ex who told me that I have this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll do anything. I'll
That's
fucking
why you don't drink
skydive.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But then Kate says to him, this is coming from a guy who watched Aliens from underneath the couch. And Alf has a great joke here.
I love it. I love the reference and I like the joke.
Yeah. Rusty, why don't you tell us what the joke was?
He thought one of them owed him money.
Yeah.
Did he mean the Marines or the aliens? Probably the aliens, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Wow. How do you even get the joke? How are you even laughing? What the fuck?
Yeah, people laugh all the time when they don't get the joke.
This is my new, get used to this pose that I'm in.
Oh, God.
So next scene, Alf is in bed.
Ed is doing the slouch that you would do in class when you were like, due to the teacher, basically.
But extreme verge.
Extreme verge. Okay.
Much like Alf. Alf was in bed in the next scene.
Mm-hmm.
And great line here. I actually recorded it on my phone. I was going to send it to a friend to express how I felt. He says, don't go. I'm depressed. And Willie is kicking me out of bed. I'm looking at old photos and thinking about all the adventures I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you really feel that? You're just like, oh man, yeah.
Well, I thought it was really amazing that Willie felt for him.
Yeah.
He was like, oh wait, you're depressed? Hold on, let's talk about this.
Yeah. No, Willie was cool to him.
Willie was very cool.
Yeah, it seemed really like emotionally aware. I feel like my parents don't give me that.
Did you like the joke? Did you like the joke about him going up the waterfall?
I did. Well, because the planet was tilted. I like that.
But then he says he has a line where it was so rough going up the waterfall that he almost threw down.
I had to rewind that.
Oh, you didn't get that one, huh? Did you laugh?
I didn't get that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I didn't get that either.
Oh,
Also,
really?
how did he get photos onto Earth? And it was funny that they were like red.
Well, he fled his home world, so he probably loaded up his ship with everything he could have.
Oh, right. It was really, yeah. I forgot. I mean, I forgot a lot of things that this episode like magically kind of put in place for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Oh yeah, that's right. Melmac and blah blah blah, yada yada. Anyway, it was just a very deep episode.
Oh, it is. It is. As we're going to get into.
I actually laughed at the joke that Alf makes about when Willie was saying that he had a crazy life when he was younger, but didn't want to say what it was in front of his daughter.
And then Alf says, "Does this have anything to do with you wearing Kate's red pumps?"
Yeah.
But I love Willie's reaction because he seemed genuinely like hurt by it. He's just like, why would you say something like that?
Yeah, it's like, first of all, it seems like is that the line that it seems like he flubs, but then
he does flub it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm not doing another take," but it's still there. But it made the moment seem like somber, where like when he delivered it, you're like, "Oh, he does wear." Like Alf did see this, and he was like, "Why'd you bring this up?"
It was weird. It made me feel weird.
Oh, this whole episode has a undercurrent of melancholy that sticks with you.
Mm-hmm. There's a few lines.
There's a depression statement right at the front of it, so you just get sadder and sadder as it goes on. I also kept waiting for something big to happen, and then nothing did. So I was like, "Oh my god, is this really? This is like such a metaphor for life, metaphor for Alf's life." And then it blew my mind.
Yeah,
the end. We're done.
We're not done yet.
I'm just
because so Willie's talking about the wild adventures he's had, and he talks about jumping a freight train. Ever jumped a freight train?
No.
Yeah, no, me either.
I feel like this is like one of those 80s tropes.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Like, and we're too far removed from it now to really have that as a thing.
Baskets made a great joke about it in a recent season.
But freight hopping is actually a far cry from what it used to be. The very first American hobos were cast-offs from the American Civil War of the 1860s. When many soldiers, okay, I'm not going to repeat all that. The name hobo is believed to be a shortened version of hoboy, but doesn't really clear anything up for me. According to one estimate, the hobo ranks swelled to 4 million adults and 250,000 teenagers between 1929 and World War II. Wow. Jesus, thank God for World War II. And Rusty, what do you have to add to this?
I'm just listening. I was fascinated by your knowledge of hobo history.
They traveled out of town looking for odd jobs and menial farm work.
So there you go. Hoboy. He hoes the land. He's a hoboy.
Oh, okay. That's why. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Our next scene, we're looking at a train set. Pretty cool train set. Was this always on the show? I guess it must have been.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, because there was. I do remember there was episodes where Alf actually wears like the conductor outfit. So I think.
Oh yeah. Was that like Willie's man cave or something?
I guess so. Right?
Well, it's in the garage, though. I guess. Yeah.
But Alf is so impressed by Willie's history of hopping trains that he even gets his autograph, which I thought was.
I thought that was a cute moment, though. That he was really excited by it.
But they say that his nickname was Boxcar Willie, which honestly to me is like, I feel like a nickname that I've heard before, but I don't know how.
But there's Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
You're thinking of that?
Oh, God. Yeah.
How many methods of transport is this guy going to use?
I'm just an immigrant trying to assimilate.
So Kate and the kid in this moment come downstairs. Now I'm too hot, so I got to take this hoodie off. Come downstairs to basically leave the episode. They're like, "Honey, you guys are going to do the rest of the episode yourselves." And they're like, "Great."
You know, but I like when she's saying to them, she's just like, "Oh, and keep an eye on him," referring, to Willie, and Alf says, "Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him." And she says, "No, I was talking about you." And he's just like, "I know, I was just being playful." And he seems so hurt by that. I just love that moment.
Wait, is that the moment where he says, "I'm an instigator"?
No, that was after the pumps line, the red pumps.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Something about the way he delivered that line also felt melancholy.
This whole episode made me feel real sad. Yeah.
And so they decide that they're going to go see the trains, I guess, because Alf has not had an adventure in a long time.
Yeah. But his psychology on Willie, he tries 3 different methods. And it was kind of funny.
I thought that was funny. I like
that.
So they get to the train yard and Willie talks about putting a penny on the track. I think we've all heard these myths about putting pennies on the track. I remember going to on the Long Island Railroad on a trip to the city for like school, and there was a kid who was going to like derail the train by throwing a penny. I was so torn because I was going to kill a lot of people, but I was like, I want to see it though.
Remember the myth of peeing on the third rail?
No, that's true. I've lost so many friends. I wish they could use bathrooms. I don't know why.
But when they're at the train yard, though, do you remember the way Willie says there's nothing like a train yard at night? He says it so strangely.
Oh, that was weird.
Wow, I didn't know. I just thought it was funny that like the lengths they go to kind of try to make Alf make sense. So they're just like bushes and wire fence.
Oh yeah,
that's a train yard.
And once they got him in the train car,
yeah, this great season.
The episode because like you could feel them being like, we've already put Alf through so much.
You know how we mentioned that Max Wright just hated being on the set, that there was a lot of animosity. I read that one time he blew up so much that he actually fought Alf.
Oh, I heard that as well.
Imagine witnessing that, him just like fighting the puppet.
The act of a sober man.
And he also flipped out on the kid and just like kept screaming at the kid, and the kid was like sobbing. And
that
he was
kid
like,
looks abused.
He's like, get your line straight. And the kid said to this day he still is kind of annoyed at him.
Wow.
Can I say, I hated that actor as a kid. I hated the name Benji Gregory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so livid seeing that kid, especially in the opening credits when he's like doing the homework and looks at the camera.
Yeah, but like he's not horrible like Jamie of Small Wonder. You know?
I don't know. I'll take Jamie any day.
Wow.
over Benji Gregory.
So they end up getting chased onto the train by a Doberman Pinscher. How 80s were Doberman
So
Pinschers?
So 80s. I love it. They don't even make that dog anymore.
I don't think they do. Now I watched this on Daily Motion. Did you watch this on Daily Motion?
Uh-huh.
My ads, which felt targeted, first one was for the Metro Purple Line extension, which I completely support. And it was good because it's a train, night train. But then the other one was for Raytheon, defense contractor. And I was like, who are they trying to recruit that's watching Alf on Daily Motion?
Mine were for sneakers.
Oh,
they wanted me to run more.
like,
what the fuck are you doing sitting at home in the middle of the day watching Alf?
I was
Get
paranoid.
outside.
I was waiting for Clara to show up today, the cleaning woman, and I was like, I gotta finish watching these. And it's cleaning around me as I watch Alf. That will be the end of my morale.
Shame.
Yeah, exactly.
Shame.
So they end up on the train. Now they're on the train. The train's moving. They're stuck on the train. And they spend a little time on here. They mentioned Terry Garr.
How the fuck does Alf jump on the train? All right. He's like 3 feet.
He was on first, too. Of course he was on first, so we could see Willie trying to get on.
But they mentioned Terry Garr. That's a dated reference, but not as dated as Linda Evans, who's going to get referenced pretty soon.
Yeah, Linda Evans is very dated.
Didn't you love the part when they mentioned staring at the darkness? And then it's like, what are you, a beatnik?
Yeah. Well, also what's interesting is like they have a good amount of conversation before they introduce.
Oh yeah, the guest cast of this. Rusty, did you get the name of the actor who played Gravel Gus?
Oh,
no, who is he?
Well,
he's so popular.
I was like, this guy played like a homeless guy in everything I've ever seen. And then I looked him up, and his current headshot is him as a homeless guy. His recent role in 2016, he played someone called Homeless Man.
Wow.
But his most famous role, Rusty, which I can't believe you don't recognize him from. He was Bob the Goon in Batman 1989.
Oh, now that you say that, I should have gotten that.
But
damn, that's funny.
Every TV show I've ever watched.
Yeah, like I can't believe I don't know this man.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I feel like wait, what was it that I just mentioned that he was on? That he was a homeless man?
I
don't know.
Life Stinks?
Oh yeah.
Life Stinks. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of good.
I think he was one of it was great when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I think he was a homeless man in that too. And he was like hanging out at the shelter with them.
Really?
Anyway.
But Gravel
he
Gus,
shows up.
he's not long for this world because he briefly talks to
So
them.
weird.
But very soon he sees Alf and jumps off the train and lands face down in the gravel. And it seems like he got killed. I don't know.
I think that would pretty
his
much.
nickname was Gravel Gus.
Yeah, but this
he's-
train was moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
He's dead.
But Alf and Willie are over it instantly.
Yeah.
They don't even.
They're like, bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're happy to be alone again.
Yeah, back to our bonding sesh.
Wait, Gravel Gus mentioned Cesspool Steve. What do you think that guy was like?
Ooh, I don't really want to know. He's like one of the Garbage Pail Kids' dads.
I love that image.
All right, bye Gravel Gus, which was really weird to even put him in the episode at all. He did nothing. He didn't like speed, he didn't accelerate the plot.
He introduced one running gag, which is that Alf really wants a can of beans.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets it at the very end.
I do.
That was already a joke.
I do think I do recall that they liked having those moments where somebody saw Alf and didn't know what to make of him and like freaked out. So he thought he was a kangaroo, and that's when he
right.
jumped out.
Loose kangaroo.
You know the
Have you
weird thing? If you had an alien living with you, though, it's like all these shows, the family always acts annoyed and goes about their everyday life. Like, wouldn't you'd be the one annoying the alien. You'd be like, more about it. The guy's like, please, I want to rest.
Also, it's weird that, I don't know, again, shouldn't you be taking more precautions? Like, why?
Well, put him in a sweater.
Alf? Yeah, you put him in a red sweater. Put him in a sweater to go to the train yard. So weird.
Well, even though he's wearing the sweater, things get cold for them. And we are kind of suffering with Willie and Alf now. And Willie is like, for someone who's had all these adventures, you're kind of a wimp.
Yeah.
And then Alf feels he never had all those adventures. And as I wrote in my notes right here, I found this moving. I don't know what else to say about it.
Okay.
I found it moving.
You know what was crazy?
What he had done was he had gone to a carnival and gotten these pictures taken and was passing them off as real life memories.
Yeah. Willie should have been like, you're still an alien, so you already did it, dude.
Yeah, he made it to Earth.
And then Alf points out where his planet used to be.
Now this was moving.
This was very moving.
But the one thing that bothered me about that, because he said there's a empty spot in space where his planet used to be, but you would never be able to see a planet in space.
Uh-oh, we have this.
You would have to be. You would see a star.
Boy.
So if the star is still there,
Alf was a puppet, not even. Ooh, good outtake.
Yeah. No, that's an intake.
Intake, outtake. Yeah, okay.
When he said, "I want my planet back," didn't you think me too?
yeah. He says, "Unlucky in love, unlucky in Armageddon." That was very touching.
Oof.
Wow.
Story of my life.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, wasn't the whole thing like Alf is a hobo of the universe?
hey, whoa,
Hello?
he is. I didn't realize that.
Whoa.
Night train.
I went to college.
It's always nighttime in space. Ring any bells?
All right. Yeah. Got it.
You know what I think was the most poignant part was where Willie's talking about how like he was adventurous, and they're pointing out that he wound up being like very pedestrian, like his dad, winding up in suburbia and just having kids. And as a child, I thought of myself as being adventurous and doing crazy things, and I'm just like Willie. I just settled in suburbia.
Well, let me tell you that a life of adventure is overrated.
I also think that the bigger point there is aging is hard, and no matter what, this is how you feel. Like it's kind of the struggle of what's the point of life and what actually means anything to you.
I do like that Willie embraced his life, that he looks at like having a family and giving, the birth of his daughter and his son saying his first words made those are his new adventures that he cherishes. So it's kind of endearing. Yeah.
And stepping back a tiny bit, in this whole scene, they seemed fucked up. They seemed like they were drunk.
Yeah.
So I'm like, was the actor really just fucked up?
Yes. Thank you, because I was watching that like, this dude is wasted.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously he must have been if he's smoking crack and hoboing it around.
Yeah. And so he tells his story of all the adventures he used to have, and he says that he dated Linda Evans, who I can barely place. Who was Linda Evans?
She was always, I know her.
Dynasty.
She was like the woman with the white blonde hair.
Yeah. She looked.
Oh, okay.
So she was in
Now
a lot
I
of
remember.
shows.
Now
where
I
she
remember.
would, be like, "Oh, the striking woman with the white blonde hair." You're like a pretty older woman too.
When he's telling the story of this, and he says she set out to find the footlights, I set out to find the sky. Did you guys get this reference?
No.
It was a line from a Harry Chapin song, which I can't believe I recognized like a Harry Chapin.
Wow, that's crazy.
I was like, it's not from the song Taxi, and then I looked it up and it was.
Wow, he died on Long Island too. Died on the LIE.
Okay. I was going to be the one who said he died in the LIE. I love the moment when Alf says, "You ever wish I never crashed through your roof?" And Willie's like, "Never." And it was really, you felt bond.
You just want to have a 3-way hug with him.
But that's why I think that guy's a good actor, because when he said never, you knew that he did mean that he did think it bunches of times.
I couldn't follow.
That was really poorly said, but when Alf was like, yeah, what did Alf say? You ever wish I hadn't crashed through your roof?
Yeah.
And Willie says, never.
Yeah.
But in the way he delivers it, he's being nice, but he means it. But he also had plenty of times where he didn't feel that way.
Okay, I could sign off on that.
You know what I want?
It's so loaded. It's such a loaded. Whenever someone says never, in like a weird way like that, where it's like really thoughtful and slow, and they thought about it, when they're saying it for like your benefit a little bit, that means.
Now I really want the opportunity to say this to someone, but I don't even know when that would come up.
People are saying it to you. That's what's happening.
That's true. So we cut back to the house where they get a call that Alf and Willie are in Barstow and have been riding the rails.
How far away is that from where? How long have they been on this train?
I mean, not
wait,
right? Because Barstow's like an hour from here by car.
Is that what are they supposed to be? I can't remember.
Or 2 hours.
Rusty.
They're in LA.
Rusty, what were you going to say?
Wait, hold on. The version I watched didn't have that part. It mentions that they got a phone call about it.
Yeah. It cuts to them in the house, and they're like, "Oh, Alf and Willie have been." It's a really quick scene, so you might not have noticed.
No, mine ended when they were on the train, and it went to the credits.
Wow, because there's another scene after that.
Oh, I paid for this episode too. I paid for it on YouTube.
I hear him tearing apart his living room right now. Or
you broke your plasma TV.
You're not going to like what I have to tell you next, because there's actually another scene.
Yes, I'm pulling out my hair.
There's an Alf message board. We actually read about someone talking about this, because I think they cut out the final scene. Willie arrives and it's like, they're coming to pick us up. They'll be here in a few hours. And he got Alf some beans from the supermarket. And then they sing a song, which I honestly liked. Another weird melancholy moment. But I think the song might have had some rights issues. So I think that might have been why they cut it out.
Oh, now I get it.
You know what makes sense now, because the running time on the episode was 19 minutes, which seems pretty short for a sitcom in the 80s.
It was like 22:40.
Yeah. Okay. 1944.
Wow.
Well, you know what we have to do now is break into the Library of Congress and make sure they have the right version.
You know what I really enjoyed was that the whole time I kept wondering, like, well, how do these hobos eat their cans of beans? Their cans are really hard to open. Like, what do they all walk around with can openers? And then he was like opening it at the end with a can opener thing where he was putting holes in it. And I was like, oh, look at him. He's doing it.
I feel like if you're a hobo, you probably carry some kind of multi-tool.
Multi-tool? All right. If you're a hobo, call us. Let us know.
Yes, please.
Just backtracking to the beginning of the episode.
Okay.
Which was some edgy humor when Al's talking about being a type T personality, and then Brian asked if he is. So he said, let's find out. Well, let's go up on the roof and jump off. If you land on your feet, you're a wimp. That's pretty crazy to say.
That was
to include that in an episode. Also, I wonder how many kids actually did that.
Be bad, so it actually would have made you more of a badass.
What, to jump feet first?
Yeah.
I think you want. But what if you dove head first? You'd break your neck.
Yeah, but you want to kind of be a loose noodle and roll like in a somersault.
I can't drop without going into a roll
Yeah.
automatically as part of like my ninja training.
That's
Yeah, you're a type T. How do you jump off the roof? Just roll it?
Just watching post reaction as I was clearly saying nonsense.
That's how white men get away with everything. You know, part of my ninja training. Just slide it in there. Well, okay. So, how do we feel? What do we rate?
I love this. Is my favorite episode we watched so far.
5 stars.
5 stars.
I loved it.
Out of 5.
I loved it too.
And I found this episode because it was number 1 on a huge ALF fans list. So if this person is listening, thanks for the recommendation.
It was such an Ed episode, though, I gotta say. I was like, I know Ed picked this.
I feel like as a kid, I would have been less interested in this episode.
Oh, yeah. I would have been like, boring.
Yeah. You don't understand like the weight of life that it brings with it.
Poignant stuff.
We're all on that night train.